Rachel?
Hello. I'm on my way outside. It's nice outside.
I was gonna say, it looks like you've got a very pretty day there.
I kind of was just like, oh, I'll move outside. And I was like, oh, they've got me already. Okay, fine.
Harriet, Amber, you guys can, unmute yourselves and put your video on. It's kind of
I
hard.
put my video on,
chat.
but I woke up like 10 minutes before the art competition.
That's fine. I mean, I've been up for a little while, but
Yeah,
Harriet
I've been up.
looks like she's cold.
Yeah, I've been up for a few hours too, so this is the best I could do.
well, I mean, I
Yeah.
got up, made my coffee, did my morning,
There we go.
routine in the bathroom, like you just, didn't let Asen out yet. He's not ready to go out yet. He's still in sleepy mode. He keeps moving different places on the bed and kind of looks at me like, why aren't you laying down with me?
Why are you talking to the fake people
Aren't
again?
you guys very tired?
Yes,
I am.
I am
Just
tired.
Being in the UK, I've been up for a few hours. So
Mhm.
it's now
Yeah.
nearly 3 in the afternoon.
Well, it's 8, almost 9 o'clock here where I'm at.
And almost 10 o'clock here Eastern. So
It's
what time is it for you, Harriet? I can never remember what it is to you.
9 minutes to 4 in the afternoon.
Yeah, you're usually about an hour ahead of me, aren't you?
Yeah.
So how is everybody doing this morning? Besides being very, very tired, this focused fan chat, we're going to, it's kind of a depressing subject, but it's also something that's very important. And that's when, what's the importance of a character death? Why did it happen?
Why did it have to happen?
Why did it have to happen? Exactly. So, one of the most devastating was Margot Lark.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Liz, I thought you were going to go vote. Oh, you're not.
I'm
You're on
mute.
mute. You're on mute.
You're still muted, Liz. Well, apparently it's a fascinating story, but we can't hear
Liz, we can't hear you.
it. There it is.
Still on.
We still
Ah,
can't
there
hear
it
you.
is.
You're still
Yay.
mute. Oh, there you go.
There was no queue. I went, it's literally 5 minutes up the road. I went and came back again. I signed on, made my vote and left. So,
Oh, cool. I like
Well, that
that.
was quick.
but all
Well,
day
anyway,
there's been queues for a 2-hour queue. So I was just lucky and got the love.
So we're talking about our first devastating loss was that of Margot.
See, now I expected her to pass away. I mean, that's
Yeah, me too.
from the opening scene. I was like, well, she's gonna die at some point.
You could tell she was going to die because she had, it was like when Gwen said goodbye to her, that was it. That was the end of Margot. She
Mhm.
wasn't,
Yeah, she had so much hope after Asen said he was going to bring her there and treat her. So I don't think that was really false hope because it was intended, and it may not have only, may have only given her a few more months, but she would have seen her again. And I think that would have been very important to her.
yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
well, if you think about it, the last image that Margot had of Gwen, Gracie, and Gordy was as they finished finals. I mean, they're sitting there, they're caked in mud and gunk, and They look
Exhausted.
horrible, but they're alive.
Mm. Imagine being a mother and see your kids like that, and yourself, you can't do anything. You want to hug them and just assure them, but no, that was it.
The other thing about it was that I thought was so touching and so heart-wrenching was when Gwen was having her hallucinations during stage 2. The only hallucination that she actually touched was her mother.
Yeah.
That was
I
so
know.
So
beautifully
it
written.
was like mom was there, but she wasn't.
Yeah.
Mm.
But it was
And
like
so, I mean, that
really
just,
almost like a little impetus to keep her going.
Mhm.
Things were very difficult and very crazy at that point because of the hallucinations and the exhaustion and everything. And they had, I think had they lost their safe base at that point? I think.
yes,
Yeah.
So yeah, so she was, she was kind of on her last legs, and she sees mom and is like, oh yeah, this is why I was going to do it in the first place. She was happy to see her dad. She was happy to see her brothers, but she needed her mom.
yes.
Yeah.
But, and in the fact that mom, had to pass was, it gave Gwen the strength to, okay, now I am in charge. So I've got to do this. I've got to take care of things.
Yeah.
Before it was kind of, well, mom's there, she's, but now she's the matriarch now. So she has to take over. One of the other most devastating ones was the death of Zaap.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Poor
That hit us
boy.
all hard.
But
You know,
had
one
he not
death that
died,
one that we never talk really about is Lolu's brother, Kadram.
Kadram, yes,
That sort of died for no reason in the end.
Yeah.
there was a lot of, for lack of a better word, senseless. But it just showed Deneb's cruelty.
Yeah.
He didn't
And
need to do that. He didn't need to do that. He was a low points
no,
contender. He
but
didn't get much.
he got it in the end. So
Oh yeah.
that was kind of yes. Then you go, oh well, no, I shouldn't really feel that way,
But, but
no,
fiction sometimes is designed for you to cheer when the bad guys get what's due to them.
Yeah.
And I've never thought that you should feel really bad about that, because that's that the story was designed to pull that emotion out of you. There's a difference between feeling that for a fictional character and if you were in real life going, yes, that guy died. That'd be totally different.
Yeah. Along with the Lhasa. I actually felt much more, I don't want to say joy because that's not vindication.
Vindicated. I was going to say vindicated,
Yeah.
When Kokai took her out.
Oh yeah.
Because
That's a
Gwen
good
didn't
word.
have
which
to.
allowed him to try, to be triumphant in becoming the Green Champion, which he
Especially
needed to do.
Especially seeing that she was trying to wipe out Gwen, I mean.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Nah,
It's
she was
interesting.
like,
She
no,
took-
not on
She
my
took
watch.
out she took out Zop, but not Liatana, even though Liatana was right there with her. And I think that was probably because Zop was on Gwen's team.
Mm-hmm.
She did it to ruin her team and to make, and to put it to Gwen, I guess.
Well, and Gwen almost gave up at that point. Had she not been able to communicate with the Pegasi,
Yeah.
then I mean, Ariane said, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but you need to finish this. It's very important for you to do this.
Yeah.
You have to do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
So Lolo, she felt responsible for all of her teammates, but Lolo and Zop were like her little brother and sister.
Mm-hmm.
Zop a little,
the
Zop
same
a little
way-
less so maybe, but I think she saw him as a little brother, a younger brother type of a Gordy substitute. She didn't
I was
worry about
thinking,
Gordy as much, but she did, as she did about Gracie. but
Mhm.
she still felt responsible.
The same
about
way
Rita?
that
Rita,
her mother gave her the
Rita, I think,
impetus to move on.
oh, sorry.
The same way Zab actually used they fired her up to go on. Once because I talked to her because she got that fire in her soul. I'm gonna show you now.
Mm.
And, and then he changes into, into the traditional Pegasi form, and she's going, oh crap, now I got to think of another animal. He's like, hurry up, come on, let's go. And then she thinks of the cheetah, and which, makes it even more funny, you wrote a cat?
Yeah, I did like that. Even though she's really, really super intelligent, she had this total mental block of what was the fastest animal on Earth, and she couldn't think of what she needed him to change into.
Well,
Because
and then it was, the next thing was, but they can only do it for short distances. He goes, I'm not a real cheetah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just do it. Just go.
I can go as fast as you need me to go. Just tell me. Oh, okay. Because he already knew what was going to happen, and he's just, okay, come on. Do they know, absolutely no, because one small thing can change the future.
Mhm. He knew what
And
needed to happen.
Huh?
He knew what needed to happen to make the difference.
Well, he knew what needed to happen in order for the future as he saw it, or that they saw it, was supposed to
But
transpire.
she needed to
Certain things
do what
happen.
she needed to, yeah, but she needed to make the choice
Yeah.
to get there.
But he knew she was going to make it, because otherwise the future wouldn't have happened the way it had.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the other character deaths, which didn't affect the Earth refugees, but did with Aeson and the other Ostradaimon, was Elakara.
Yeah.
But she had to die in order for Aeson to realize that, okay, yes, I do really care about her, and maybe I do love her, but she's not my destiny. And then you come up with Aeson. Aeson had to die.
And he might not have been in the same, he was still in that despairing headspace 2 years later when he actually made the decision at Ilaterra, which if he'd
Yes.
had someone to live for, he might not have.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, he might have anyway, just
True.
because of his personality and the way he was, but he was ready to sacrifice himself.
Yeah.
Or more willing to sacrifice himself is maybe a better.
Mhm.
Well,
And
he and
Gwen are very similar. They were very to sacrifice themselves.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, Elakara, the only thing that was similar between Elakara and Gwen is the fact that they were both yellow. And they both cared for him, except
And they didn't put up
Gwen.
with his crap.
Hmm?
As I say, and
but
they
that's-
neither of them put up with his nonsense.
Right. But Elakara was a tough one for Aeson. But then again, it did bring Aeson and Zelio together.
Yeah.
They had something in common. They had something to fight for in common. I did think it was funny that Aeson dyed his hair black, and then his dad goes, "Well, you can't go around like that. Go, okay, you can shave your head," which is what he wanted to do.
Actually, I found it more touching that Zelio dyed his hair gold
Mm.
to
Mhm.
show his loyalty to Aeson. It was not the
Yeah.
dynasty, but
Mhm.
just to him personally.
Yeah. That was a sweet move.
So was there any other, I mean, I know I'm missing some characters here, but were there any others that really hit anybody in a particular way?
I don't know about way back during qualification, during the semifinals, the fact that, and again, the candidates were from all walks of life, and we don't know a lot of, most of them, we don't know their backgrounds for, but that so many of them were willing to take out other teenagers or other children, basically, for the chance to live. When she gets when she's on the hillside in Los Angeles, there's the Blues with the rifles, and they're ready to start shooting. They don't care,
Yeah.
it wasn't even a kill or be killed situation at that point. It was just a let me take down the competition. And the blue girl that she ended up, it was not intentional, I'm sure. It was not intentional on Gwen's part that the girl was going to die. She just wanted to stop her from shooting, but that affected Gwen greatly. And I think that made her more determined not to kill anybody in the games.
Yeah.
She already had that one death on her conscience, deserved or not, but she didn't want to be responsible for anybody else.
Well, actually, she had two. There was, it was that Sarah as well, the girl that.
Yeah, because
um,
again, because of the way the blue girl shot and fell and the volleys went off. That was definitely much more inadvertent because she certainly didn't intend that to happen. But yeah,
and that whole scene when, okay, Gwen is, she's injured. She could have quit and been rescued, but she was just determined, no, I'm going to go through this, and I may die in the process, but I'm going to get through it. And then in the end, when she gets to the pool and finds Gracie,
oh yeah,
that just motivated her even more. Okay, I may not make it, but at least I can make sure my sister does.
and the same thing with the burning baton. It's like Gracie was counting on her. She could not, Gracie was hanging on to her for dear life. She could not let go.
Yeah.
No.
And that is guts and determination. That was not her strength or anything. She wasn't that strong at that point physically. That was sheer willpower.
Yeah.
And then it was and then it was the unconditional love that Asen reached out and grabbed it with his bare hand. Yeah, he burned himself pretty badly, but he didn't let go.
R.I.P. Flesh, but at least they could rebuild them.
Well, he knew that. She
Yeah,
didn't,
knew
but
that.
I mean, he
Gwen
knew
didn't know
that.
that.
It was
Yeah,
basically
she didn't know
it's
that.
built-
No.
inside out. And but he wanted her saved.
The other near death is Arita. I think Vera, when she was writing that, before she wrote it, she was actually considering killing off Arita, but then she changed her mind because she thought there'd been enough deaths. She didn't need, and she could tie it in with the Pegasus and all of that, but
Yeah, and
that would have been.
she said Arita just wouldn't die. I think Arita was, kind of speaking to her and just wouldn't die.
Yeah, she didn't want
But
to go.
I think that one might have broken Gwen, that somebody else, or at least severely compromised her.
Yeah.
That somebody
Yeah.
else died specifically to save her, willingly.
Well, it
and
was, and it was bad enough that the entire ship, everybody on the ship died.
Yeah, the captain and everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Horrible.
know.
And
I know I just kind of came in. I've just been listening. It's early for me, but Rita's my favorite character in the whole series.
she's one of mine. I mean, if I have to pick the absolute on the females, it would be Oala. But I like Arita's spunk.
Yeah,
Mm.
I mean, she's not afraid to call somebody out on their crap.
yeah. I
And
would
she
have been
did
very
that.
sad if Rita had died. That would have. I mean, I would have kept reading, but that one would have been a hard hit.
Yeah. Or even
That
Hasmic.
would have
it
hit,
did
that
allow
would
her
have
to-
hit Ethan very hard if she died, because he already lost his first friend on that
Mhm.
shuttle incident. And then because Rita and he was Aisen's bedmates, partners.
Yes. And
Yeah.
also, and also
Well,
he asked her to do that. He
To do
basically
that, yeah.
asked her. So
Yeah.
he would have taken full responsibility if she had
Yeah.
died.
Yeah.
It's not like, you know, Tilia went up with the sabotage, but Arita would have been really on Aisen's conscience if she died.
Yeah, because he actually asked her if it comes to that she should sacrifice her life to save and
She
well,
would've.
he would have
He's-
done it.
She
mean,
would have
he
been.
did.
Well, yeah. And because he said, you know, be her shield,
Mhm.
which means if something happens, you're going to take the bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And
That's a hard
that was-
decision.
That was absolute faith. That was absolute faith in her that she would, and she could and would do it.
Yep. And she did.
Mhm.
and she proved herself. I mean,
Yeah.
the nice thing is she, as a result, and with, of course, Aeson being the imperator, she became a citizen
Mhm.
and first generation nobility.
She
That
more
one I
than
think is,
deserved that.
that one I think is pretty historical. Because Hasmeek would, you know, would just, you know, like, okay, whatever, you know, it's like that would not be important to her
No,
because
not
that-
as important as it would be to Arita.
But well, it'd be interesting though with Arita because she said, as she said at the party, I don't belong here, never have, and now she's going to be there. And not only that, she is one of the closest friends of the imperial couple.
Yes.
She is in her absolute inner circle. If Tiri had any thoughts of retaliating in any way against her,
Mhm.
they are dead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
she's totally sealed her situation for life. She's definitely in.
She was there before, but she's
Yeah.
she's not going. She's definitely not going anywhere.
And that's and that's kind of the way it, you know, I mean, characters, you know, are in a book for a reason. Of course, now you've got your filler folk, you know, just like you have your extras in a movie or a TV show. But you know, your secondary characters, they all have meaning and they have purpose. So it makes a difference. And they, you know, everything is for, you know, and to have just a senseless death is kind of sad. We want our lives and our, you know, and hopefully our deaths to have
Right.
meaning.
The one that didn't happen is the one that confuses me. Is how did Kateb get out of that? Get out of being killed by Hedge's team.
Hmm.
Hedge didn't do it because he was taking care of Gwen. But how did he escape the rest of them?
Well, their objective was to get Gwen. So if Kateb didn't put up too much of a fight, they might have just left and got away as quickly as they could.
Yeah, because Hedge gave his teammates, you know, well, what do we do with these other two? Whatever you want. I don't care. I got what I want.
Yeah.
And so I guess they decided to, you know, be merciful, and maybe the other guy was being a butthole.
Well, I
Hedge.
think they were both fighting.
Kateb
They were,
had that
you know,
weapon,
they were both
that
fighting. Gwen wasn't.
that thing. That
I
was
don't know if you
And
could
it-
use
it
that in
could-
the little room.
Yeah, and it could have also been that, you know, Kateb was already forming an attachment to Gwen. And he could have, you know, subconsciously tried to protect her,
Mm.
you know, but, you know, out of all the teams besides Gwen's in the games, Hedge had the second best team.
Yeah.
His people were there because they wanted to be. Deneb's group were kind of bullied into it.
Or birds of a feather. Sort.
Yeah, I mean, Thalassa had, you know, amongst others, Fozzie Boto, or Fuzzy Bottom, as Bree called him.
I do love that, yeah.
But you know, and he wasn't, I mean, you know, he wasn't really a nice guy either. Whereas Sophia, you know, when he was, you know, saying that Gwen didn't really win, and you know, he thought he was being, you know, the big man, and he's gonna, you know, stand up for both of them. And she looks at you, you do whatever you want. I'm perfectly fine with the outcome. I mean, she wasn't gonna fight it.
No,
I think she knew.
I think she knew
think she-
that. Yeah. Carry on.
So I think when it came down to the, when Gwen decided to grant their wishes, I could see her, you know, acknowledging, well, thank you. You didn't have to do that. But I appreciate it. And then, Fozzie, well, you know, that's the least you could do.
Yeah.
I mean, he
Also, I
was
think
just that personality.
Gwen kind of felt a little bit grateful to her for keying her bag as well during third stage when she couldn't sing. There was that. She didn't make any fuss about it. She just did it.
Right. Well, ladies, our time is up.
Oh.
We do have
Okay.
more coming up.
Oh, yes, the
Let's
tag
see
swag,
what- Huh?
our
Tag
tag swag.
Yes, we have tag swag. Swag.
Bag swag.
We have tag swag coming up next, and Vera has already sent me some messages saying she's got all kinds of goody stuff for us. So we will
Yay.
see. Yeah, we'll see you guys in about 15 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, time to make a
Okay,
cup of tea.
bye.
Alrighty, bye.